Hey everyone, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. Today we're going to continue with our live search component, and we're going to try first to search through a lot more than we attempted to search through last week, just to see what kind of performance we get when we do a search like that, and how many entries we're likely to get on a single search. And then after we see what that looks like on the page, I think we can continue on with kind of building out the UI. So that's the plan for today. I do have a meeting in 2 hours, so like the stream to be about an hour, somewhere between an hour and a half. That should give us plenty of time to get some things done and answer a lot of questions. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I wasn't feeling well like Saturday, so I actually really wanted to do a lot of coding, get things done on Saturday, and I ended up not. So it was weird. And just mental health update, and to help anyone else out there. So I was feeling a little bit sick Saturday, and my kids were at my parents', and my wife was gone. So it was like I hadn't worked out in a day or two because I wasn't feeling well. I was just by myself. I was trying to get a lot of stuff done, feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and my depression and anxiety were just really bad. So it maybe was a combination of a lot of different factors of the sickness, not exercising, being lonely, and all those factors I think maybe combined. So I guess it's just something for me to watch out for, and maybe for you all to watch out for if you're dealing with the same kind of thing. So I was kind of really pumped to be able to get all the stuff done, but I just couldn't, and so I'm gonna have to watch out for that next time, and maybe come up with a different plan to keep myself up and on target when I'm not really feeling well. So alright, so let's get on to some coding. So we have a lot more people watching now. I wanted to wait till we had a few more people in until I share this link. Here is the ngrok link for this project. So if you click on that link, you'll be able to see the project that I'm locally working on. You'll be able to see that in your browser, and anytime I make changes, it'll be reflected immediately in your browser. So you can use DevTools on it and search around on different pages, and you're not limited to just seeing what I happen to have on my screen at any given time. I am now going to switch so that you all can see what's happening. Alright, Michael said, I know the feeling, went through the same things this weekend. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better now, like mentally, right? I'm feeling better. Yeah, but it was just, Saturday was just a weird day. But did get some good news over the weekend. So Saturday evening at some point, I found out that I was accepted to speak at the Moms Can Code Virtual Summit. So it's like a week-long conference, but it's all online. And there are 40 speakers. 39 of the speakers are women. I'm the only man that got accepted. So I guess I'm pretty honored to be on that list. And I feel pressure that I guess I need to do a good job to justify me being on that list. But anyway, that's really cool. I'm excited about that, and that'll be sometime in April. So you'll see me. I'll be tweeting about that when more info comes out. Okay, so alright, that was a different page I was working on. So I've been working on the data we have stored in WordPress, trying to get things in shape, because some of it came over in fragments where like we have a page, but then each section of the page came over as a different post type. So I'm trying to consolidate those and just make sense of them. Michael says, congrats, I think. Have they seen the picture of you with the beard? I don't know what picture they saw, what pictures they saw of me. So, yeah, I mean, some of my social media pictures and a lot of my videos, I don't have a beard. So I don't know. So let's go to the search page. And if you want to follow along on your computer, our search page is just /search. So first thing I want to do is start this Pomodoro timer. So we do our first coding session. And then let's go in and add post types onto our search query that we were doing. So I was working on this page, and let me push this. I just committed my changes. Origin. And now they're on GitHub. Alright, so now the code on GitHub is completely up to date with what I have here locally. I don't know how many of you remember or are following along at all with one of the side projects that I'm working on. That was JavaScript.af, and we had a lot of ideas for the site, but I think we're narrowing the focus. I don't want to have a site with a bunch of different features and none of them not have enough time to really perfect any of them. I'd rather have a site that does one thing really well. So we're focusing this site on being a place where you can find and share really cool GitHub repos, like JavaScript GitHub repos. So it'll just have a nice UI, and whereas the site GitHub is not focused so much on discovering new repos and being able to search for them, you can do that. But the focus is being able to actually update, merge and maintain repositories. This site is not going to have any of that. It's just going to have a really kind of nice search function and, potentially a way to upvote repositories and try to share. I'd really like to get some of the things that people are working on that aren't really well known. Maybe they don't have a lot of stars, to get those some more exposure to the community. Especially maybe the more unique things that are happening with JavaScript. I think it'd be cool to highlight. So if anybody's interested in that at all, you have any ideas or feedback, or you'd like to contribute to that, check out my GitHub repo. The project is JavaScript-AF, and then we also have an API. Harshit just came in the live chat, and I will mention that Harshit has done the majority of the coding for this project. Unfortunately, I've been too busy over the last month to contribute much in the way of code. So I guess I've been kind of guiding things just with ideas and encouragement for now, and Harshit's done a ton of the work. So thank you to Harshit for that. But I welcome anyone else to be involved if you want to. It's a React project. So if you're interested in React, there's that. And then Harshit could tell you more in the live chat about how he's building the back end and the API part of it. If anyone's interested. All right. So here's our search page. Where's our? Oops, this is probably so small. I apologize. There we are. Okay. So I'm on the search page. So if you are following along locally or in the repository, it's in the pages folder, and it's search.js. And we're down here at I could shrink this up a bit and this up and make some more space. So this is that query that I was talking about. So you see right now we're not really getting that many post types. So we're getting admissions pages and chapel pages. So I just want to keep adding on a few more types. And I'm going to, on my other screen, I'm going to check out some of the types we have so I can add them in quickly. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try to add 5 types for now. So we can have, let's just have, let's see, faculty, and let's go with major. And I think all of these are singular. If they don't work, I guess then we'll find out. And department. Let's see what else. What else do we have? Academics. Academics page. One more. What's it going to be? If I include news, it's going to be a lot. Well, I want to test, see what we can handle. So let's include news in here. Alright, so I'm going to save that. And let's see if it works. We'll just search for a really common word. See if we get back a lot. Okay. Let's see what we're getting here. So we got a department, admissions pages, chapel page, academics, major. Okay, but it looks like we didn't get anything from news, which is odd. I mean, I'm pretty sure the word "the" is in some of these news posts. Let's see. Did I mess up that last one? And type news. I may have to check to see how I put news in there in our custom plugin. Yeah, news, it should be news. I didn't use, yeah, news was the REST, yeah, that's what I had for the REST API. That's pretty weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see if there's some sort of limit. And so let's move news up here. I don't need this type post or type page, because we don't have anything in posts or pages right now anyway. Oops. Okay. Search. I can't tell if this searched again or not. There you go. Department missions. Okay, we're still not getting any news. It's weird. Alright, that's interesting. Alright, not really sure why that's happening with the news pages. I'm going to check the live chat here to see if any of you said anything about that, or if you're getting different results on your local version. All right. I wonder. All right. Let me know what you all think about this. So clearly, we're not getting everything that we could be getting here. For some reason, we're getting nothing from news. Not even if I search for news. There we are, finally. So we did get news now. This is odd. I wonder... I don't think I have any caching set up. All right, there's I wonder if it's limiting our results by that 100. Maybe that's it. I mean, I'm not going to count these, but I figure we're probably getting 100. I don't know if I get a number here. Yep, we're getting 100 results. So we're limited to that 100, which is not bad. So what should we do? All right, here's my idea. We're just gonna have to do either a button here that says more results, or do an infinite scroll, since we are limited by that 100 100 posts for a search. Well, I tell you what, it has been a while since I checked the API documentation for WordPress. It used to be, and it might still be, that you couldn't go over that 100 limit. Let's see if you can now. Let's say 500. I don't think this will work. I think 100 is like a hard limit, but we'll test it. Whoa. Yeah, so that must have given us an error when we tried to use that. Did we have... Here we are. Which one were we using? We don't have the limit here. I was going to say we could see exactly. I suspect we're getting this back. I will copy and paste that into here so we can see what's happening. We'll give it this per page 500. Let's see. Oops, it was over here. And let's do this. Okay, we're getting something back, but it's definitely not. Oops. This isn't what I need, right? I made that. I did that wrong. No rest route, and that is how we have it in here. Multiple post type. No, I flipped it around. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's an invalid parameter. We can't use 500. We can't use 200. We can't use 101. So I think it is still 100 as a limit. Okay, yep. All right, so we're limited to 100. We're limited to 100 here. It's not going to be a huge problem. Like I said, we can do the search, the infinite scroll type of search, or have users hit a button, either way. And then we're going to have a lot of options for users to choose exactly what type of content they want. So assuming that they're only choosing one type of content, like let's say they only want faculty members to come up in their search, we're fine. We're not going to go over the limit. Especially if they're saying, I only want faculty members and I want them from this specific department, or I want the faculty member that has this name. Right there, that's going to be okay. The news will probably be the only post type that it really has more than... Sorry, I was trying to hold back a yawn for a while. So, yeah, news definitely has more than 100. So that will come into play if somebody searches a very common term and wants to know about news. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with that. So I think we're okay right now. Yeah, we're okay right now. Let's work on some of those. Let's work on some of the filters then. I think before we jump into UI stuff, kind of like while my mind is still on that search query, I think it would be a good time to do that. If I switch back into like design mode, it'll be harder to switch back if I want to do it. So let's just put in some test filters and see how they're going to work. So what will happen then is this whole portion of and type news and all that, those are going to be variables, just like search term is. So let's see how we'll do this. So let's take this and type news and copy that. That's going to be the template. And we're getting the search term right now from, that gets saved in state, I believe. And why are we not, okay, let's see. Where's our input? Alright, so we have on change, get search results. So let's go up to our get search results function, search, target. Oh, okay. I don't know what I was thinking. So search term is passed into this function. I'm not sure I want it to happen like that. I think I may rather have the input be a controlled component, so it actually goes up here in state, and then we don't pass anything through here. We can just run it from whatever happens to be in state at that time. So let's do that. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to change this, and we're going to say search term, and we're just going to initialize that to an empty string. Oops, not equals. We're going to initialize that to an empty string. So for search term, we're going to say this state search term, and we don't need this anymore. And then down here, we're going to call fetch search term, but we don't need that search value anymore. And then here, input on change, we're going to put a value ID, and there it's going to get its value from this. No, we don't. Let's just say search term. Oops. And we're going to add, oops, not under props. We're going to do this, and we're going to say search term, and now we're going to say this state. And what are my lines for? Search term, SERCHTRM, this search term. Why can't I do that? I'm pretty sure I can do that, right? Search term. Okay. Let me check my time while I'm over here. Okay, only about a minute left, so let's just see if this works now. Well, let me type in, okay, this state data map is not a function. Is that because I didn't get any data? Oops. That's weird. Okay, I messed something up in this flow. of, let's see, search term. Oh, okay. I'm not actually changing prevent default, clone search targets, unfocused keyword. So I'm not actually setting state. So I'm going to set the state here. This set states, and we're going to go search term, search. Right. Search, you can see targets. Is that what I had before? No, it's not working. No. Search term. Do I need? I think I need something else. Okay. What did it say? Christopher said it should be this state equals. You did state equals. All right, what line was that? Oh, okay. Yeah, hard strike. All right, let me set my 5-minute timer so I can go back to the live chat and answer some questions. Then I'll come back and troubleshoot why the value is not working for that input. I suspect I'm just messing something up syntax-wise somewhere. All right. Hey, everybody who said hi at the beginning. I forgot to say hi to you all. Also, thanks for everyone saying congratulations for me being able to speak at the Moms Can Code Summit. Noble and Savage says, "You big, rough-looking man," with giggle. Also says, "How we all doing? I just started that 100 days thing to get me motivated to do many hours a day." Awesome. My wife's doing the 100 days of code as well, so that's really cool. I hope you do all your days and learn a lot and build cool stuff. All right, Nikki has a crypto question. So I mentioned it last week that I started doing a tutorial to build distributed apps on the Ethereum blockchain using a language called Solidity. I think it's Solidity. And the tutorial is cryptozombies.io. So Nikki asks, is it going out to the internet every time that zombie eat kitty function runs? So to the blockchain, to be specific. I think so. I'm trying to think how that, when I did that lesson. Yeah, so I think all those, assuming that it's connected up to the blockchain, like, and not in some sandbox environment, then I think all of those main functions do go through the blockchain, which I guess makes sense, right? Because then that would change like important information, because you would get a new zombie. So it'd be a new zombie with new DNA assigned to your specific ID. So I believe so, but I'm still going through the tutorial. I'm on lesson 5 now. but I'm not not at all an expert on it. Oh, okay. Harsh is saying maybe show the progress on the test domain for the JavaScript.af project. Yeah, we'll see how much time is left after I get through questions and stuff, and after this next Pomodoro session, and then we may do that. Or maybe, if not today, then I'm sure at some point this week we can show it off a bit. Okay, Christopher's saying, doesn't NPM sort of do that JavaScript AF thing? Well, I guess, I mean, NPM wouldn't necessarily have all the projects. So like not every JavaScript project on GitHub is also an NPM, unless I'm wrong. And let me know if I'm wrong about that. And I do want your honest opinion about the project, right? Because if you all think that it's a ridiculous idea, this GitHub repo search thing with JavaScript .af, let me know, because I'd rather not spend a bunch of time working on something that nobody wants or nobody thinks will be useful. So constructive criticism is definitely welcome. I may try to do some live streams on my own channel where I work on that project, and then that way you all can get kind of a better idea of what's going on. Christopher says, on your Franciscan page, the nav links probably need some indication of hover other than mouse pointer. Saying these ones. Yeah, let me think. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure I want to add another indication, but if we were to add another indication that these are clickable, what should it be? So I'm up for suggestions here. Keep in mind I would like it to be as material design-ish as possible, but let me know. If we're going to have anything, I would like it to be subtle. I don't want a lot of crazy motion or something like that. No, like text getting a lot bigger stuff. But I am open to something subtle. I'll at least consider that. If you all think it would really help. Okay, so didn't quite get through all the questions this time. We'll get to the rest of them after this next Pomodoro session. And all right, let me reset the timer and let's figure out what I did wrong, why this isn't working. All right, so let me walk through the flow of what should happen then. So we initialize search term and state to be an empty string. So initially the value in our input should be search term, and we should be able to get search term from here, right? That's why we don't need to write this state down here. Then on change, it goes to this dot get search results. So let's go up there. Let me see as well. This dot get search results. So when we go to get search results, oops. All right, I see what the problem is. I did this all in the wrong place. Shoot. I'm going to have to undo a lot of stuff here. Let me copy this. So we left in some, there we go, search value. Yeah, I left in some functions that we may need at some point, but right now we don't need, so that's what happened there. Alright, so what I need to do then is go call this set state and put in, where are we at? Search term and set that equal to value. Okay. And the reason we're doing that before we do this is that this is going to determine the value of that input. So I don't want to debounce or check for length of that input, right? So otherwise I'd be able to type 2 characters and nothing would show up in my input, right? So that's not what we want. So we want state to get set immediately. And then we can also check here to make sure before we actually search anything that, well, we're debouncing so we don't search too many times, and we're also not going to search for tiny strings. Okay, so we have that and that. Let's go down here and add this back in. And let's add our value back in. Our value is going to equal search term. And let's make sure nothing changed. I don't believe we went back so far that anything else changed yet up here. Okay, let's save that, see if it works. There we are. Okay, good. So now our just to show what's really happening, let's go into React and make this bigger. Ooh, maybe too big. Make this whole thing bigger. Alright, how about that? There we go. So here's our search term and our state, and we say it says the now. So if I go back, we have a th. We have there. So you see every time I type, this is updated. So this is what we call a controlled input, a controlled component, where essentially, and a good way to remember this is the value of the input is controlled by state. So when you type something in, state is updated. So the data flow is you type, state is updated, and then the value of the component gets updated. So as soon as state changes, a re-render happens. And when that re-render happens, the value of this input is changed based on the value of state. Okay, so that's how the flow goes. It may not seem like it makes a lot of sense or adds any benefit here when we only have one input, but as we continue to add our filters on, it does, you'll see that it does make it easier when you have more form inputs. So at least that's been what I've found is that it is nicer in those cases. Okay. I think let's commit that. Right? So I think this is enough of a feature that we can commit this before we add in some more inputs. So I'm going to do a get status, make sure of what we changed, get add. And then we'll do our yarn CM. So this is particular to this project. we have kind of a special kind of format that it takes you through, so you could see this. Let's do a refactor. Yeah, what do you think? Refactor would be appropriate? I'll say, yeah, we'll say refactor, and we're just gonna say refactor search input to be a controlled input. Okay, great. And this doesn't break anything, and it does not affect any open issues. Now it's going through all the tests. Once it passes, we can commit this to our GitHub repo. Great. Whoops. Git push origin. There we are. Okay. Alright, so now that we have that all sorted, we can add in our filter. Okay, so this is what I was attempting to do at first, and then realized that we needed to do some more work. So let's, as I was trying to do before, grab this first one, this type news, just as to use as our template, I guess. And we're gonna, let's see, we're gonna create an item in state. How are we gonna do this? Alright, I'm sure we'll refactor this as we go on. I'm going to try something first, we'll test it, see if it works, and then maybe it can be improved. But, so at first, we're going to do search type, and this will be a string. And let's just, for now, we're just going to put search type news in there. And what do I need to grab? Type news, and do we want the and there all the time? We want the and to be here. Okay. So search type news, and I forgot my comma. Okay. And then we're going to, let's take all of this, get rid of it for now. Oops, even this. Let's take all of this, get rid of it for now, and throw it over here, just kind of in our scrap file, okay, because we'll refer to that a little bit later. But what we want to do back here, where we took all of this stuff out, is we want to put in a, I guess we could do, we'll just concatenate these two. This state search type, right? Why is this not working? Error. Why is it giving me an error? This state search type. That's weird. Okay. Okay, so it does work. I don't know what was up with that error. I guess it didn't like that space in there. But you can see I don't know how if it's easy to see this down at the bottom here, but we have our search did exactly what we have. The search term the, and then the type equals news. So now, if we want to change what we're searching for, all we have to do is change this in state, this search type. So what we can do now is add our inputs that are going to change what we're searching, and each one of those will change this value here. Here's what I'm thinking. It'll be checkboxes, because we don't want to limit users to only search one thing at a time. That would be, I could see that as being annoying, that a user picked the wrong category, they're not sure exactly what they want, and they have to go through like 4 different categories searching for the same thing in each category. That's annoying. What if they say, well, I think it might be in one of these 4 categories, so I'm going to search for all 4 of these categories at once. So that's why I like the idea of checkboxes as opposed to radio buttons. So we will have checkboxes for each of the search items. If you've ever been to Amazon.com, you notice that on their search, they go mostly with the checkboxes. So we're going to go with something like that. And so each checkbox that's checked is going to update what is in search type. How are we going to do this? And this is what I was just pausing to think about before, and I said I would just put it off. The best way to not only add to this string, but also remove items as well. Oh, how about this? What if instead of just having search type, so search type, we had, can we do this? Search type, news, let's go, majors, do we have major? Yeah, this would be insight major, faculty is going to give us okay, so you get what I'm doing here, okay? And then what we would do is map. So we would loop through this. So every time the search happens, you would loop through this and then add these together. So essentially, a search happens, everything's cleared, then gets added again, and that's on search, or that happens on click of a checkbox. So we just go through and add those in. Yeah. Okay, let me check the live chat, because I think some of you are commenting on this as well. Oh, okay. Alexander's saying it's hard to read the console. You know what? I had moved where my video shows up when I made that. So Friday afternoon, I think it was Friday afternoon, maybe Thursday. Anyway, I made a video about installing Node and Git and cloning a repo to your local machine and getting it up and running, kind of just like a beginner's basics video. And I posted that on my channel. So if you're new to Git and GitHub, check that out. Maybe it may be helpful for you. But anyway, what I was doing in that video made more sense for me to have my thing over here, and I forgot to move it back. Thank you for bringing that up, though. I apologize if this has been covering things up the whole time. All right. John Hansen's saying it could be an array of objects. Michael says, is there a way to group checkboxes in a frame and then build a search query of the checkboxes in the frame? I know Access could do it. John says you could also make those default value as false and true on checkbox. Okay. All right, let's go. Let me test things out with just these three. We'll make some checkboxes and then see if the concept itself is just working at all, and then we can refactor after that. All right, Alexander's saying this states search type as an array. Okay, yeah, actually, we could do it, and I think somebody else mentioned it as well. What about an array of objects? Yeah, let's do an array of objects. That makes sense. Let's see if it'll let me do this. Yes. Look, we don't need this to be defined. What are you talking about? Oops. All right, they don't like that. Alexander says, so you would separate the URL creation from the logic. Okay. All right, we need some checkboxes now. Should we check material UI? Yeah. Whoops. Let's check this out. Component selects. Let's select text. I need checkboxes. Click the wrong thing. Wait, there's got to be checkboxes. Checkbox. Yeah, I'm just missing it in here. Checkbox. Oh, selection controls. That's what it was under. Form control label. Okay. All right, let's see this one. I guess we can grab all of this. And we'll paste it. For now, we'll just put it right below. I know we have this in a form tag, but for now I'm going to keep it separate. We need form control, form label, form group. Wow, we need a lot. Let's just copy and paste. Okay. So we're going to have to change the values, of course, just to make sure. No, this handle change is not a function. All right, let's bring in the handle change function as well. I missed that. Oh, you know what? I forgot we already were pulling in some filter stuff. It's alright just to get this working for now. Handle change. Alright, cool. So here's our inputs, and I wanted to use the material UI ones instead of just throwing in an input like we did here, because you know we have styling built in. So I'll probably adjust the styles a bit, like maybe add a little less space between these. But this is basically what we want. I don't have that much time left. No, not enough time left. Okay, so we need this set state price free. All right, that's not what we brought in. No. All right, I'm out of time for this one. We're gonna have to save this, I suppose, for tomorrow. Normally, I would try to get this done, but since I have a meeting coming up, I can't go too much longer. So the plan then is, and I may just hold off and do this in the next stream, we'll see, but the plan is just to connect these so that when you check it, it does actually change something in state, and then once someone would search or click, it takes everything in states, these strings, and it makes one large string, and that's what gets inserted into here. So let's change this now while I'm thinking about it. So we need get rid of this and make that blank, and then instead of search type, this needs to be checkboxes. There we go. Okay, so now we can still say we're going to use search type in here. This makes sense now. We're saying these are the checkbox values. Yeah, this may be overcomplicated to do it like this. It's all separate objects. So anyway, that's basically what's going to happen. If that works, then I'll just add all the possible combinations as checkboxes that we want here, and then we'd need to clean up the UI a bit. So on a large screen, we could probably display all the options and it wouldn't be an issue. On mobile, we're going to have to come up with some other way to display all the options. Probably some sort of toggle that would display them and then hide them. Okay, so let me go back to where I left off in the live chat. Let me get a drink first. So I'm going to go back to where I left off. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can before my meeting. I think I should be able to get all the questions in. If you have any more questions, please put them in the live chat now. Feel free also to ask me questions in the comments to this video or to send me a question on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, email, whatever else you can think of. I can't always get back to you right away, but I do try to eventually get back to everyone that asks me a question. Let's see. Gerline says, how do I gain abilities like you? Just practice. So I would take some, like if you haven't already done it, go through some of the freeCodeCamp challenges. You can check out some of the free or paid Udacity courses. Just take advantage of a lot of the online resources that are out there to help you learn more about JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. If you're interested in design, I recommend reading through the Google Material Design documentation. If you're not a fan of material design, check out Apple's design stuff. I assume Microsoft has something similar for their style. So just to give you an idea of all the thought and that goes into designing a nice looking and useful user interface. And then just practice. Just keep building things. If you can get paid to build, that's even better. But either way, just keep building. And I mean that's really how it's done. There's no substitute just for experience and practicing. So just a little bit every day, if you can, is great. Sanbei says, hey, do you play CSGO? I do not play CSGO, so I'm not currently. The only thing that I've been playing, and I don't play every day, is Zelda Breath of the Wild for Nintendo Switch. So occasionally I will play that, and usually like if I'm working out in the morning on an exercise bike, sometimes I'll play. Let's see. Divyanshu says, hi, I just joined. What did I miss? We tested out some of the limits on the search in terms of how many things we could search for at once, and we can search for 100 things at once. We can't go past the 100 thing limit. We can search for a bunch of different types of content all at once, but we're still limited by that 100 thing limit. We made an input into a controlled input, so just using state as the value, and then making sure we update state every time we change that input. And then we added in some checkboxes, and those will eventually be used to determine exactly what types of content we will be searching for. Let's see. John said, "Congrats on the talk." Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate it. Syphonex says, "Are you reading this?" I am now. Not sure if you're still here. Harsh is saying, even you don't know how large that code base has gone. I'm assuming you're talking about the JavaScript.af. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know how large the code base is because I haven't been through it all. So after saying that, Harshit, I mean, in your opinion, do you think it was a good call to say we're just going to focus on one thing instead of trying to do a lot of different things, just in terms of being able to manage the repository? Will that help you cutting things down? Nikki says, kind of off topic, but Phantom.js is having drama and is being retired. Luckily, it kind of got replaced by Puppeteer a while ago. Yes, yeah. So I don't know if anyone knows about this, but so Phantom.js was an open source project. There's just not enough people maintaining it, and so they are retiring it. I believe they said that it could be revived at a later date, but that's not really guaranteed. They would need more people to get involved with the project. So I guess, I mean, when things like this happen, it's good to remember these open source projects only exist because people donate their time to help keeping them alive. So if you have the ability and the time to keep them alive, please do that and contribute to the projects. Maybe if you don't have the time or the ability to contribute, maybe consider contributing money to help keep these projects alive. So either way, that can be very helpful. John says, anyone interested in the upcoming changes in React should watch the video sneak peek beyond React 16 on the reactjs.org blog. Async rendering, time slicing, suspense, and many other new things. Yes, definitely give that a watch. So yeah, go to reactjs.org, go to the blog, check out the video. The video is embedded right there in the blog. I didn't watch the entire video. I watched at least half of it when it came out last week. Very impressive, very exciting. So I'm not going to try to explain it because I'm sure I'll mess it up. I only watched it once last week and only halfway through. So maybe if I go through the video more and understand it a little better, maybe we'll talk about it on the stream. But it was cool, like, when I got to the point in the video when I was really starting to think about, okay, how could I use this on my projects, then it started to get exciting. It was cool, you know, thinking about things I've done in past projects that were kind of a pain, and thinking, wow, if I had this back then, it would have been so much better. Really, really cool. Cool stuff. Fernando says, hi Jesse, I am from Argentina. Welcome. Thank you for watching. John Hansen says, and this is about the new React, says no more need for debounce. Yeah, you're right. I saw that part. So there's something that may be coming in React. So all these things in React are like not guaranteed yet. None of them are finished, so they could change. But like there was a thing in there that it would make debounce obsolete. So like, we're using it in this project right now. We just talked about it earlier in the stream. We saw that line where we're debouncing. It's like we wouldn't need to do that. Okay, Harshit Singh, show the site if time allows. All right, let me get through these last few things in the live chat, Harshit, and check the time. Michael says, I've hit a brick wall with my freeCodeCamp Simon. I'm not great at front end, but good at logic. I've been fighting away to make it look good, but it breaks my logic. Is it better to look bad but have nice logic, or look nice and have spaghetti code on the back end? It depends on who's looking at it, right? From a user's perspective, I guess as long as it works, they would prefer that it does look nice, and they don't care what the code looks like at all. They probably never think about it. But if you are going to be showing this to devs, if it's going to be on your GitHub repo, then you probably do want your code to look nice. If it's something you're going to go back to and have to maintain, you don't want spaghetti code either. So that's interesting that the look of it is breaking the logic, though. That's Michael, do you have that on that project on GitHub? And would you mind if I just took a look at it at some point? I don't have a lot of time, so I can't guarantee I'd be able to do anything, but if I get a chance, I'd like to at least just check it out. So let me know. Chef Hin says, hello, I'm from Bangladesh. Hi, welcome. Thanks for watching. Chris says, that's great advice. Oh, thanks. Michael says, no. Was that a no to me looking at it? Alright, it's cool. It's cool if you don't want me to see it. I understand. But, alright. So I've gotten through everything in the live chat. So I guess I'll have a look. Yeah, let's have a look at the project here. So Harshit, you want me to show the project on the test URL? Are you cool with people knowing the test URL right now? I'm going to open it on my other screen and wait for an answer here. Alright, so I'm waiting for a response. Hopefully Harsh heard me. I just want to be sure that the test URL can handle traffic and that it's okay for people to know about it. Okay, there we go. All the old stuff was loading. I had to refresh it. Okay, cool. So let me pull this over, and I'm just going to spend just a few minutes on this because I will have to go to my meeting soon. But here's a sneak preview of what Harshit has been working on and doing pretty much all the coding for, especially all the back-end stuff. And I've been just somewhat involved in, to be honest. But this is just a little taste. We're not even in beta yet. Like we'd like to have a beta at some point. So very much open to suggestions. The idea is you could go here to discover new repositories. You could certainly have different criteria for what you would want to, how you'd want to filter these and how you'd want to sort them. And there will be some sort of way to, let's say, upvote different repositories. So I would like it, I'm not going to say right away that I'm going to exclude the big repositories, but I would like to make it so that the big repositories are not always on the top, right? You know, you can always see like React has a ton of, you know, React's up at the top. Like the big stuff from big companies are usually at the top of like the most starred repositories. So everybody already knows about those. What I want to highlight are some of the smaller ones. So I'm hoping that's what we'll do. We'll just have to kind of, as we go through beta testing and things, we'll just have to kind of adjust how we're pulling these in to make sure that that happens. So here's some of the other things. Like we have a feed. Harshit, are we not doing the feed at first? I think that's what's happening. So I think we're not going to have the feed. So there were some social media components that we're going to hold off. We're most likely, we're either going to split it into another project or just hold off on them and maybe think about adding them back in at some point. But for now, I think we're better off focusing on one thing, getting that ready so we can actually get it released and doing that one thing well. We also had a spot where we were going to allow people to post jobs. So this is one of the other things that may be added on as a feature at some point. Obviously, we're going to have a search, which this one currently is searching for people and repositories. So for sure, we're going to have a repository search. I'll have to check with Harshit on whether the people search adds a lot more complexity or not. If it doesn't, then we may keep that. If not, it might just be repositories at first. The messaging thing, that's another thing that may or may not be available at first, but could be a feature later on. I mean, it was working. Like, I guess there's no rooms here right now. It was working before, so it's not working right now, but you know, that's how it is when it's in a state of development. And then, of course, we have, this is another one of those social media elements that probably won't be in there in terms of like followers and things like that. And yeah, so that's what we have so far. Harshit, let me know if I missed anything. Harshit's saying the search works. Oh, really cool. Let's see. JavaScript. Is it just working for people right now? Do we only have limited stuff in there? That's probably it, huh? All right. Okay, Harshit's saying it's only working for people right now. Okay. All right, so that's basically the idea behind it, and I'm not indexed yet. That's all right. So that's the idea behind it. I really just want it to be a place where you can go to get inspiration and see what other people are doing. Maybe figure out projects that you would like to contribute to, and just have it be a very nice, fast interface. This is all, you know, React based, and let's see, Harshit saying test. Yeah, so we have that's cool live search, and that's using Algolia, which is pretty cool search service. I like it. It's not free, but I think it's really cool. So anyway, that's the idea. At least at first. I mean, this is going to be totally free. At some point, I might like to add in some features, like optional features that could potentially bring in some revenue to at least pay for servers and things like that. Because if we did get a lot of users, I'd imagine it would get pretty expensive. So that's on the horizon as being a possibility. You the other alternative maybe is trying to run off of donations and things like that. So first things first is let's get it to a point where we can beta test it, see if anybody's even interested, if we even get any users, and then we'll go from there. But the domain name will be javascript.af, which will make sense for a JavaScript repository, site. Yeah. So anyway, the repo for this project, for the front end React part, is javascript-af, and that's on my GitHub account. And then we also have the back end is javascript-af-API. So you can check out both of those. Harshit mentioned before, you do need some environment variables to get things up and running for the different services that we have. So if you'd like to work on it and contribute, probably want to let Harshit know that you're interested, and then see about getting what you need to get things up and running. Yeah, and we'll definitely need beta testers too. So even if you're not interested in contributing code, beta testers are going to be important. So I'll make sure to let everyone know when we're at that point. I think we're pretty close to being able to do some sort of, beta, like really limited beta, All right. Okay, so I'm going to have to go now and get a few things done before my meeting. And I should be back tomorrow. I got to double check. I may have another presentation tomorrow. It's not on my calendar, but the head of my department mentioned something about it. So I need to figure out what's going on with that. So depending on what happens with that, we'll see if I can stream or not and what time I can stream. But I want to try to do as many streams as I can this week, kind of get back in the swing of things here. Oh, Michael, I did not get a chance to check out the Node Seeding Manager. I'm really sorry about that. To be honest with you, I keep forgetting about it, and every time I see it in my GitHub account, I'm not at a point where I can actually check it right then. I'm always like in the middle of doing something else, so I will get to it. I can't tell you when, but I will try. So apologies. Okay. All right, that's it for today. I really need to stop talking now and get ready for my next meeting. I really appreciate everyone watching today, and thanks for checking out this project, and thank you to everybody who listened to me for a few minutes earlier talking about my mental health. I know it's not very interesting for a lot of you, but I think it's good for me, and it's good for other people in similar situations to talk about stuff like that, so that's why I do it. Let's see. Okay, see, I had a few more comments. I was just checking in the chat there. But anyway, I'm going to try my best to be back tomorrow, and until then, have a great day, everyone.